सबसे पहले, how many of you have read the syllabus perfectly? You understand what is the meaning of geomorphology?
So now we were waiting for you, eagerly, and now I must welcome to Mr. Ashwani Kumar to speak about your experience about UPSC examination and give some inspiring notes to the student.
Good evening. All the people present here, especially Shubham, all the faculty from Plutus, all the students. Today, I feel really glad, because I used to be on the other side, but I am on this side, and the topic which has been given to me, civil services as a career. So how many of you are from science background? How many are from humanities? Science. Please raise your hands. Science. Humanities. How many are from Delhi? All are from Delhi. And how many of you are freshers? Like you have applied or you haven't written the exam? You have come for the first time. All of you are freshers. Good. So, have you made up your mind whether you want to join civil services, or you are still in the process of thinking whether you should go for civil services? Completely, And about your optional subjects, everybody has decided. So, how many have decided? Please raise your hands. And how many of you who have not made any decision and still toying with the idea which decision they should make? Please raise your hands. Undecided. Decided or फिर undecided कोई नहीं है. So when you prepare for civil services, is everybody comfortable in English or I should speak in Hindi? Mix. Okay. So जैसे हम यहाँ पे आते हैं राजेंद्र नगर, it is a hub of all the civil servants, other being R.K. Puram and Mukherjee Nagar. सबसे पहले, how many of you have read the syllabus perfectly? You understand what is the meaning of geomorphology? You have very well read the syllabus of GS and your optional subjects. How many of you have read the question papers? How many years of question papers? Prelims or mains? Or both? Mains. How many else apart from him have read the question papers? How many of you have read which are the services which will be which you are going to appear for and you will be allotted for? All the services. So which are the services which are under MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs?
ATS, Talims.
Good. At least you give an answer. Anyone else?
IPS, Danims, RP, Railway Protection Force.
Anybody else? Indian Forest Service. Under which department does it work? See, what I'm going to tell you, it's been 12 years and most of the people who are preparing for services, they get into services and still after a long period of time, they have no idea why other services are there in the civil services, how are the people selected, where do they work, like Indian Auditor Account Service. If a person is not selected to that service, other people in services, they have vaguely a very very less idea how is the service. Indian Civil Account Service. First of all, go through the services. How many services are there in total? 24. All India services, central services, Group A, central services, Group B. So why are they, classified like that? UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, is a constitutional body, and it is the watchdog of merit in the country. Like, it selects all the people for good, all the jobs which government provides. The selection is made through UPSC, and these are the premier services which are part of UPSC exam, civil services exam every year, which is conducted. All India services, there are 3 services: IAS, IPS, and Indian Forest Services. Indian Administrative Services and Indian Foreign Services are the 2 services. If you get selected, you cannot appear for this exam again. Apart from that, if you get selected to any other service, you can reappear in the exam. One more thing, you have to fill the choice of your home cadres. People I have seen getting very good ranks, but they have no idea about the cadres, so they would fill in and later they would repent for their entire life. Have a good understanding of the cadres. What is a cadre system? Read about your states. Wikipedia is your friend. You should know on an average what is the political, geographical significance of that particular state, what are the important cities, how is the economy going on. You should have a good idea about each and every state in the country. And people, they start reading news. How many of you have started reading newspaper? अब तो सब हाथ खड़ा कर दो. The first thing you hear is कि यार we have to read the newspaper. Newspaper के बिना तो कुछ नहीं होगा. Which newspaper do you read? हिंदू. कितने न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ते हैं? हाथ उठाइए अपना. और किसने अभी तक बिल्कुल देखा नहीं न्यूज़पेपर? Good. There are only 2 interface between UPSC aspirants and the UPSC. आपका सिलेबस और आपके क्वेश्चन पेपर्स. उसके अलावा कोई भी कुछ भी बोलता है, you should not rely on that. When you read the syllabus, when you read the question papers, if you read 15 years question papers of your prelims as well as mains, you will know what is going to come. How many of you have read about Pareto principle? So what is the principle?
It is the 80-20 principle that 20% of result, 80% of result came from the 20%. It is something like that. It is applied in most of the cases. Something like that.
Very good. What's your name? Priyesh. So Priyesh has given the clear definition of Pareto principle. 20% of the syllabus will give you 80% of the marks. Now, which are that 20% syllabus you have to focus on? And when you read the newspaper, you are just reading it without thinking what you are reading. You should always have a goal, always have an objective, what I am going to do. If you are reading newspaper, Hindu, any newspaper if you pick, आपने आज पढ़ा उसको follow नहीं किया. First of all, you should know about your country, general mental ability, and awareness of your surroundings. You should know about your country, and you can divide your syllabus into 2 parts: static and the part which you have to update yourself. And do you know how much part would be under this static portion, like which does not change at all? Roughly, like what percentage would that be? 40%. 60% of the syllabus, 60% of the content changes every year, or it is undergoing change.
20% might not be changing with time.
20% might not change. 80% change. I'm talking about a window of around 2 to 3 years. Like you have come for the preparation, and you divide your syllabus like this is the static portion where I don't need to read a newspaper. I will just focus on this content. how much percent would that be?
Around 25%.
25%? Yeah. Any other guess? It is around 85%. Around 85%, and sometimes more than that. 85% of your syllabus is not going to change. Today you are reading 3G, Wi-Fi, WiMAX. Even 15 years before, people were reading that. And the answer is same. Tell me how many topics are there which were not there 5 years back.
COVID.
How many questions did you get from COVID? Did you appear for exam? किसी ने क्वेश्चन पेपर उठा के देखा? कोविड से कितने क्वेश्चंस आए थे? One question out of? And what was the question? Do you really need to read something special to answer that question, or you could answer that question had COVID not been there? What I'm telling you is, you have fixed number of hours when you have to study. You are reading newspaper, you are giving too much weightage to the newspaper and very less weightage to your subjects. Have a good grip on your ancient history, medieval history, modern history, and India after independence, especially that is a time period. You should have which are the prime ministers and which are the events which have taken place during which prime minister's time. You read your political system. Shubham will, he will tell nicely because he has read political science as a subject. So if you have that, so most of your general studies is covered in that. So your optional, selection of your optional is going to be a very key determinant in your preparation. After you have read that static portion, you should just see whether that knowledge you have gained, whether it is applicable today or not. Like when India is conducting its foreign policy, what you have studied in the history, whether it is being followed or something new is coming. It is like old wine in new bottle. वही चीज़ को हम घुमाते रहते हैं. You should have good grip on your subjects, and then you should start reading newspaper. And newspaper में, and one subject, economics. Economics is a subject that you prepare for your entire preparation. You will always feel difficulty if you are not from economics background, and the reason is because economics in itself is a vast subject, and for that here they will any coaching institute, they don't have that much time that they will go for the basics. Read microeconomics, macroeconomics and international economics. 12th class, 11th class, these books, they are more than sufficient. All the questions, all the basics you will get there. So that was one part during preparation. So second thing is, as a career as a civil services, how many of you are working somewhere in any organization, privately or nobody is working? So that's good. Like you are totally focused on your preparation. So when you prepare for civil services, initial 1 to 2 years, 1.5 years, very important, because you are going to go for your coaching classes, you are going to read like anything. So read intensively, and after that you should consolidate what you have read. You should have instead of reading 20 books one time, read one book 20 times. And you should always have some specific notes, because I've seen people making notes every time. So what you read today, if you're not getting, like your aim is UPSC final exam, so if you convert it into small steps, every day you should feel that you have marched towards your goal. Like one step always, every day you should step ahead. If you're not stepping ahead, you feel like you are there only, nowhere you will go. As a career, I would say that most of you would have read in newspaper, you would have seen all the people, all the relatives telling you that you should go for civil services, getting inspired by collectors and all that, and like how is the life after civil services. I would say that this is a very good service if you are coming for serving the society, working at the grassroots level and having a good diversification. Diversification, what I mean is exposure. The exposure which civil services give you at such a young age. There are very few fields which can give you that exposure. So when you know what fields are there, what services are about, only then you will be able to make your choice. So what I told you is, go and read which are the services, under which ministry they are working, like what is a post of DRM. How many of you are clear like DM or ADM hierarchy क्या होती है?
SDM, ADM, DM, Divisional Commissioner,
SDM से नीचे
तहसीलदार, BDO, पटवारी.
तहसीलदार is the lowest revenue official. उसके बाद अब तहसीलदार then BDO. ठीक है. BDO and तहसीलदार are the equivalent or BDO is senior to तहसीलदार? Okay. What is a magistrate? What is a magistrate? Like people say, a
person with having judiciary powers.
Judiciary powers. Be specific. What are judicial powers?
That would give
Exactly. First of all, you should read what is deputy commissioner, deputy district magistrate, what are his powers. Get to know where you want to be. You all are preparing for civil services without knowing what role you will be, fitting in. You will be stepping in as collector or as SP, SSP, DCP. Understand your system. And this I am not telling you, you are preparing for civil services. That's why you should know it. Every person living in a country should know about the government system, should know about government hierarchy. You cannot work in that country or any country. You cannot work for yourself also if you don't know the system. Knowing the system is must. Anybody would come and he will say something to you. You will pick up a fight. Police will come and they will arrest you. Now what will you do? You should know your rights. And first of all, know about the system, know what are your rights. After that you make up your mind. That would not take much time. Basic your NCRTs, just go have a read them and don't be in a race that I have to start and complete within 2 months or 3 months. Have your natural pace, understand it. And there is a word called introspection. क्या मतलब होता है introspection का? Self assessment. थोड़ा सा और उसको डिफाइन करो.
to find out our capability, where we stand.
So, vocabulary is very important. Every subject comes with a vocabulary. Because there is a specific word for every specific object, every specific idea which can be discussed. आप सिर्फ वोकेबलरी सीखने वाले हो, कुछ नहीं करने वाले हो. आप पॉलिटी में आप जाओगे, उसकी अपनी वोकेबलरी आएगी. When you go into a discipline, it will have its own vocabulary. Introspection is thinking about the way you think. कि जो आप सोच रहे हो क्या उसके बारे में सोचना, क्या जो आप सोच रहे हो सही सोच रहे हो. So इंट्रोस्पेक्शन, आपने जो पढ़ा क्या वो रेलेवेंट है पढ़ने के लिए, आपको समझ में आया. अगर वो असेसमेंट आप नहीं कर पाओगे ना, तो यू विल नॉट नो वेयर यू आर स्टैंडिंग, एंड दैट वुड क्रिएट फ्रस्ट्रेशन, एंड डाउन द लाइन यू विल फील कि यार मेरी तैयारी कहीं भी नहीं चल रही है, कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है. गो, इफ़ यू कैन गो, इफ़ यू वांट, यू कैन गो एंड मीट officials like your SDM, DM, you can meet your MLA, you can meet your member of parliament, all the public officials, they meet everyone. Have an interaction with them and make your idea or make your decision if you haven't finalized. Because if you cannot see what you are going to become, if you are not very concentrated, you will have several lows in your preparation. Because there is a preparation, once you start, it is going to be something. It is something which will change your life. your social life, your life of your family, whatever you get selected or you don't get selected, in both the cases it will change your life, because it is going to take at least minimum 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of the most productive time of your life. If you get selected, it will change. If you are not selected, then you will think yaar main piche reh gaya hu. But if you have read properly, if you have studied properly, all the people who have not even made up for the civil services, I've seen they do very good in life, because the knowledge they gather here, it comes very handy, and वो किसी भी field में जाते हैं, they excel there. So I won't take much more time, and I'll be more specific to questions. I think after this. So thank you so much. I would thank the entire faculty of Plutus for giving me an opportunity to come and interact with you, and I will share my credentials also. I'll share I'm there on social media. Anybody, if you are having any doubt, you can post there. I will answer to that, and about like any aspect of civil services. Thank you.